welcome to Treasures of Fullerton College. Today we will be interviewing talented students on the way to success through various vocational programs. I am your host, Nathaniel Stav, and our guest is Kaylee Gieser. Kaylee, what have you been studying at Fullerton College?
I study photography here.
What inspired you to go with this major?
I've always loved art since I was a little kid, and my first major didn't work out so much. I was bored in the quote-unquote academia part of studying, whatever. So I decided to jump back to an art major, and I'd been taking a lot of photos of recent, and I just kind of decided I would dabble in photography a little bit. So I transferred here, and I took a photography class, and it turns out I loved it, and I've been studying it ever since.
Nice. What kind of photography do you want to pursue and why?
Definitely commercial photography. I'm not a fine art photographer by any means. I don't understand that weird stuff that they do. And I like product. Product is a lot of fun. It's very quiet. It's just you and the cell phone or the iPad or whatever it is. And it's quiet and it's fairly simple once you know how to do it. But I also really love shooting people and capturing their personalities and the emotion and just making them look so alive.
Is there any advice you can give to aspiring photographers?
Definitely practice. You're not going to know how to shoot a DSLR the first time you pick it up. You're not going to know how to meter. You're not going to know how to white balance. But you definitely have to keep practicing and keep working at it and find someone who knows what they're doing to help teach you and have someone look at your work and evaluate it and just keep learning and growing and growing and learning. And I will never know everything. I will be learning photography the rest of my life.
Which do you prefer, film or digital?
Definitely digital. Film, it's fun and it's really cool, and it's really cool to just put a piece of paper in a tray and see an image appear out of nothing, but it's really time consuming and it's kind of fading out, so it's also really expensive. Whereas digital, I have my little memory card and I can take my photo, then I can put it in the computer and I can process an image and have it printed with, less than an hour. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I could spend days or weeks editing a photo, but with film, just to see the image just at all, it takes hours to get to that point, whereas digital, it's seconds.
How long have you been doing photography for?
I've been taking photos forever. My her hobby was photography. So I just kind of grew up with it, taking photos of everything. The 90s, they document everything. Snap. Yeah. But I've only been studying photography for about 2 years.
Are there any influential teachers or mentors that help you in your interests?
Melody has definitely been a big influence in my photographic career. She's the digital teacher here. I really respond to her teaching style, first of all, and then she really cares about us and she really nurtures us and she knows how to push us and what to say and what to do, and the way she critiques, I'm always learning something. I'm never not learning something with her. There's always something new. And it's really cool and it's really nice to have someone care that much about you and really literally push you out of the nest. It's definitely been quite an experience.
Kaylee, thank you for that. We will continue our interview after this commercial break.
Don't touch that dial.
Welcome back to Treasures of Fullerton College. I'm your host, Nathaniel Stav, and my guest is Kaylee Gieser. Kaylee, in your opinion, what does it take to become a photographer?
Not much. A good camera, some skills. I mean, nowadays with the new digital cameras, everybody thinks they're a photographer, but that's not necessarily true. I definitely think that you should go through at least some sort of schooling, because I mean, you can pick up a camera and take a photo of me, but it might be too bright, it might be the wrong color, it might be too dark. So I definitely think that everyone who's going to be a photographer needs that formal training of how to get the light in the perfect ratios and the colors and the perfect balance. But it's definitely not an exclusive industry by any means. If you take the classes, you have the equipment, and you really hone in your skills, I think anybody can do it. It just definitely takes that practice, and it's a lot of learning. And once you really nail down your skills, you can definitely then start being artistic and creative with, and you can do all sorts of things. It's one of those things that you have to learn the rules before you can break them. So definitely practice.
If you could choose any one of your 5 senses, which would you choose and why?
Choose to what?
Any of your 5 senses, touch, hearing, smell, taste, or sight. Which one would you choose?
Well, I mean, I guess my sight, because I'm a photographer. That's got to be my favorite, I guess.
Do you use Photoshop or any of those other kinds of photo labs or software?
I do. I definitely post-edit. I believe that every image needs post-editing. And I've even started editing my Instagram photos and definitely my Facebook photos. I hate when people put unedited photos on Facebook. It drives me crazy. I don't have a lot of Photoshop skills, so I don't go overboard with them, but I definitely do basic adjustments, make sure the lighting's correct, make sure, the people aren't orange, per se. So I do a little bit, not a lot though.
Were there any difficult moments that you had to overcome in photography?
There's definitely some challenges, some learning curves. Learning to use strobes and lighting was definitely a big learning curve. Product photography has been a really big learning. We had to learn how to use the view cameras, which you're having to focus with this knob and then that knob and then this knob, and we were having to shoot stuff while still learning the equipment on top of half the class learning strobes for the first time. So there's a lot of learning with that, and then product on top of that in terms of lighting. Until you get it down, it's really difficult, but once you get it down, it's easy. But so just that whole kind of situation, learning all this new equipment and this new style is definitely challenging.
Is what you do now related to your photography major?
What I do in work? No, I just kind of have an hourly job to help pay the bills. I'm definitely not working as a photographer or an assistant or anything like that yet.
What is your favorite thing about photography?
Seeing a person come alive and making that personal connection. Because when you have a connection with someone, it really translates on film, and they look good. And it's really cool to kind of bring that out of them and make them look good, and then they see it and they're like, whoa, that looks like, oh, and they're in love with it, and it's just really cool to see that sparkle in their eyes.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I would like to thank our guest, Kaylee Gieser, for taking time to talk with us. I'm your host, Nathaniel Stav, and this is Treasures of Fullerton College.